There is no such thing as the perfect coax, because it all comes down to application. Just because one piece of coax has got next to no loss on it, but is that diameter, you can't use it as a patch lead. So, I mean, for patch leads, I use a 7mm coax. It's normally the one of the flex from Messi and Paoloni. All right. In fact, when I was on holiday last year, I made a patch lead and must have cocked it up. I couldn't get it working, so I ordered this from Martin Lynch & Sons. This is I think they call it Ultraflex. It's the same stuff. It's a 7mm coax, all right, and it comes with these lovely big boot things. I've used this a couple of times, portable. 50 feet, 15 metres, something like that. That boot, by the way, you can buy from Messi and Paoloni. Well, it starts its life like this, and there's a little arrow, right, that says pull this way. You slip that over your joint, right, pull like hell, and then that rubber boot ends up. I don't want to do it because I don't want to ruin this one, because once it's shrunk in, there's no unshrinking it. So these little boots, I don't know what they're called, Messi and Paoloni do them. So what do I use for outside? So I'm thinking permanent installs, and I have used literally everything from the cheapest RG213 to, in the old days in Europe, we used to have a product called Westflex 103, which was same size as 213, which I think is 10.3mm. There's a kind of a hell of a lot of coax at 10.3mm, just under half an inch. What is it? I don't know, 3/8 or something, but 10 mil. It's called 10mm coax, but I think it's 10.3. I've even used the SSB Electronics now. 15 years ago, SSB Electronics used to do a lot of very high quality cable. They still do, right? But they've just gone out of fashion. And the reason I think they've gone out of fashion is that Stefano at Messi and Paoloni has just done such a blooming good job. How do I know what coax I want to use, by the way? Is that all coax has a spec sheet. I don't need to show you this, right? You go to the internet, you think, oh, right, this is some really fancy stuff. LDF 4-50 is a 5.5 inch, 0.55 inches, nearly 13 millimeters. It's solid core, solid outer sheath, corrugated. It's got an aluminium core with a 5 micron copper coating on the top. And on 145 megahertz, it's less than 3 dB on 100 meters, 330 feet. Now I can cope with 3 dB, okay, because 3 dB is half or double, whatever. So if I'm running a 100 watt radio and I've got 3 dB loss, 50 watts of that is being soaked up in heat, right? That's the long and short of it is. So I'm 3 dB down. Now 3 dB sounds a lot, maybe it doesn't sound a lot, but the reality is it's not as bad as you think. Okay, so if you took your radio and went and took the 100 watt radio and turned it down to 50 watts and then got the same signal report, just say, I've changed something, right? Just say that to your mate. I've changed something, how am I sounding now? He would struggle to give you a fair comparison. You think, well, I don't know what you've changed. What else have I used? Ecoflex 15. Now that's blooming expensive coax. The problem with Ecoflex 15 is that multiple bends, there is a lot of, this is from SSB Electronics as well, lots of bending, and a lot of people, particularly on UHF and VHF, who have used, maybe they bought a 50 metre run to go up a mast for portable, and then they reel it back up again. Now, normally, it's expensive stuff, they've taken care of everything else, but Ian, G0CNN, plugged his, fancy analyzer into it, and the losses had mounted over a couple of years. He couldn't believe it. So he's bought something else now. But anyway, I've got 2 runs of Ecoflex 15 from here all the way out to the coax distribution box, which is my main transmit for station 1 and my main transmit for station 2. Soon to be replaced with LDF 4-50, which is that corrugated iron stuff. However, I was talking to Stefano, because Stefano is a very hard-working fellow from Messi and Paoloni. You've probably seen him on a few videos, not of mine. And sometimes we just shoot the breeze, you know, because he's always busy, right? A bit like me. But I asked him his opinion that for my permanent runs along the grass, what do I use? And basically, he's only got one option, which is the ExtraFlex berry, which is this. Right? He sent me 2 of these, right? ExtraFlex berry. So he supported the channel, basically, so we can replace all the runs of 7mm. What do they call it? Ultraflex 7, something like that? Because that's not direct berry, right? You can get pinholes and it'll deteriorate quickly. But the ExtraFlex berry has got a, can I only call it, it's not Vaseline, but there's a kind of a coating between the outer sheath and where the copper braid is. And when you split it open, sometimes it's kind of stuck to it. It's kind of got that, it's not quite goopy. The idea behind it is if you did get a pinhole or whatever, it wouldn't go very far, right? So, I mean, I don't know what the lifetime is, right? It's more than the lifetime I've got left in me when it comes to ham radio. But when I looked at the losses on the Berryflex, the difference between Berryflex and even LDF 450, there's bugger all in it. I'll put the losses here for ExtraFlex berry, and if you really wanted to go super upmarket, I'll put the losses here for LDF 450 for 100 meters, that's 330 feet at 30 megahertz, okay? And you've got to remember that at 40 meters, the losses are, it starts to get really negligible. You know, I mean, I looked up last night, LDF 450 on top band was less than half a dB on 100 meters. So that's my recommendation, all right? It's not just that Stefano sent me 200 meters and I'm singing his praises of this stuff and I've guaranteed him a video or whatever else. That is not the case. Stefano is a mate of mine and, you know, he's just supporting what I'm doing here. I will only put in my field what is right for my field, right? I'm not just going to put all that work in, all these connectors, pin it all down and put the wrong stuff in, am I? So, you think to yourself, all right, this is RG58, all right? I'll look up the spec sheet and try not to buy unbranded coax. You've got no idea where it's come from, all right? Buy a branded coax. So if you're buying RG58, you know, you get it Andrews or whatever. Andrews probably would do RG58. It's a bit beneath them, but they will have a spec sheet, and you rely on the spec sheet if it's a you know, warranted company, right? So Messi and Paoloni, they do spec sheets. You just look it up, right? Ultraflex 7, 28 megahertz per 100 meters. It's 2 dB, whatever else. I'm only doing half of that, 1 dB. I can cope with 1 dB. And by the way, one of these, right, a good one of these will have less than 0.1 dB insertion loss. So you can have half a dozen, you know, different joiners and connectors and whatever for less than half a dB probably. So I calculate half dB loss all the way to the antenna on all my connectors and bulkheads and everything else, less the coax loss as well. If it totals not more than 3 dB for 10 meters, I'm buying into it. And of course, a lot of my antennas are monobanders, so I'll go, well, that is only for 20 meters. Will it work? Yes, it'll work for me. So there we are. Enjoy your radio, guys. I'll see you next time. Bye for now.